going into whatever the Maryland arena,
the Xfinity Center.
Xfinity Center, going in there and kind of laying belt behind.
You like that belt
That's a good
to
line.
behind?
I want to say belt to ass, but
I don't understand why you keep using that line.
They were up by. They scored the first 11 points of the game.
They were up by 10. That's not belt to behind.
They scored the first 11 points. They were up by 20.
Dagan, officially,
in the middle of the second half.
It's a 10-point win. Belt to behind.
Yes, they were.
Dagan says
it was. There was at no point in that game did it look like Maryland had a chance to be able to win it. At no point in that game did it look like they were after the first 2 minutes.
I'm going to text Ed Cooley right now and say, was that belt to behind?
And yes, he will say that.
He will say absolutely not.
Yeah, he absolutely said that.
But anyway, it was a little bit of a shocking result. Even though Georgetown had that big win in the exhibition season, it's exhibition season over Kentucky, right? You're like, I don't know. Kentucky was shorthanded a little bit. How much credence did you give it? You know, this is year 3 for Ed Cooley at Georgetown. Hasn't really done over the first 2 years what a lot of people, myself included, thought he might be able to do in terms of flipping it. You know, he had 2 first-round picks last year. They didn't get in the NCAA tournament. They don't have any first-round picks on their roster this year. I feel pretty confident saying that. But talking to Cooley recently, what he said is, this is an old-school Big East team. That's what I have here. Yes, we're going to have some trouble scoring points. But, man, we got dudes that play hard, that are tough, that can really, really guard. And, you know, that's what they did today. They held Maryland to 60 points. Right, and
I don't.
Malik Mack was good. KJ Lewis, the transfer from Arizona, was good. This is how they have to win games. They have to win games probably scoring, 70, 65, maybe 62 points.
Well, this is a team that is built in the mold of a Ed Cooley basketball program, right? When you think of Ed Cooley's best teams, they got a big physical 5-man, they got junkyard dogs at the forward spots, and they got guards that can go out and get a bucket. I'm thinking like teams that had Bryce Cotton, LaDontae Henton, and a bunch of goons out there that are out there to just be physical and go win the fight almost as much as winning the basketball game. And I think they got some guys like that this year. And Malik Mack and Jaden Epps, who can both of those guys can go and win a possession on their own. They combined for 25 points tonight. And then I'm sorry, but Malik Mack and KJ Lewis combined for 35 points. Yeah, 35 points tonight. It's been a long couple of days.
It's been a long it's been a long about 40 days.
Yeah, been a long 40 days. But KJ Lewis and Malik Mack combined for about 35 points tonight. And then you have the big fellas. Then you have Isaiah Abraham. Then you have Caleb Williams, who had a double-double tonight. It feels like this is a team that is built in the mold of what Ed Cooley wants his basketball teams to be.
Well, yes. Of course, that's what he wants to start with, right? He wants to start with that toughness, that kind of Big East toughness. But I do think he'd love to have one more scorer, Rob. I think he's probably a scorer short of being a team that, we were talking about could finish 3rd in the Big East. Now, after this, again, you got to put a little bit in perspective here. This is Buzz Williams' first true game at Maryland.
And they're banged up, man. They're not healthy.
They're banged up, and I'm not sure how good they're going to be. But regardless, if they can be a tournament team, this is a win. Remember how bad Georgetown's non-conference was last year? They won every game, and they played nobody. Now, could this turn into a resume game at the end of the year? It's not right now. Maryland's going to struggle. But could they be a tournament team at the end of the year where maybe you're talking about...
They don't need to be a tournament team. Just be a top 75 team. And if you're in the Big Ten,
team would be huge for Georgia.
But if you're in the Big Ten and you're not terrible, a top 75 team is a quad 1 win. And we all know how that stuff looks at the end of the year. If they're 65th in the net, that ends up being a quad 1 win, and that's looked at on paper as it matters.
That's the thing. A road win,
yes,
of this caliber is going to be significant for Georgetown. The question is, can they keep this thing going? Right? Can they be a team that, instead of us talking about finishing, 5th, 6th, 7th in the Big East, could they fight for 3rd? Because right now,
yes,
3rd place is wide open. Am I wrong? It's
No.
UConn and St. John's, and then we have no idea. Creighton, maybe. Providence, maybe.
I think it's looking at the Big East right now,
Yeah.
obviously UConn and St. John's are at the top. And then
Clearly.
for me, it's Providence, Georgetown, and Creighton are all good enough to be like in the NCAA tournament conversation. And I would not be surprised if all three of them found a way to be able to get to the dance. Now, the hard part for the Big East, just kind of big picture, is when you get to the bottom of the league, like there are going to be some warts this year. There are going to be some scores that look weird. Shout out to Seton Hall. Shout out to Xavier, who won their first two games.
Yeah, I mean, Xavier's the one
not exactly win games.
Xavier's the one that you worry about.
DePaul is in a dogfight with Stonehill right now. So that's the part of it is that
Seton Hall beat Wagner.
They won by 7. Yeah. No, but what I'm saying is that
belt to behind.
You don't want to be in a situation if you're Georgetown where you're relying on the wins that you have to get in conference play to be able to put together the resume that is good enough to be able to dance.
Do you know who put belt to behind tonight?
UConn.
Your UConn Huskies. Man, did they. Poor Pat Duquette. He's going to go home to his poor dog. Hopefully, is still going to love him after tonight's performance.
They were down 44-3 at one point. And
what's it? It was 44-3?
It was 44-3 at one point.
Come on.
And that's
boy.
That's
Could they call again? Like, I feel like that's a score they should call it. You know how
the mercy rules?
Yes.
Mercy rules.
Yes. I think they should bring out mercy rules. Yes.
Honestly, you know what I think? I think that we're going to see a lot more games that are lopsided like that.
Because of the net?
No, because of the difference in
money.
And look, it's not just you're not just seeing.
I think the net is part of it too, Rob. I think the net encourages.
Listen, it's not
somebody like Dan Hurley, and he's not the only one who's going to run it up. But anybody's going to run it up with the net.
Well, that's